Welcome to the In Love with PMDD podcast, where we dive deep into dating with PMDD, PMDD relationships, stress, triggers, PMDD rage, and really understanding how attachment styles play a role in PMDD relationship. So I am Dr. Rose, your PMDD relationship psychotraumatologist, and I've personally suffered with PMDD for over 19 years. And I've dedicated my practice to help you stop the monthly PMDD breakups. My dissertation, the phenomenological study of the relationship experiences of partners of individuals who suffer with PMDD, gave me insight and tools on how PMDD affects the partner who has PMDD as well as the partner who does not. So each week, I'll be sharing my specialized trauma transformational tools to help you rewire your PMDD brain, get rid of the stress during the luteal phase, and finally have the relationship that you both desire and deserve. So whether it's understanding PMDD triggers, controlling PMDD rage, or healing past trauma from events that have happened in your relationship, this is your space to rebuild your relationship, empower you to connect with someone while having PMDD, and ultimately grow stronger together. So to get private PMDD relationship counseling sessions or for more PMDD tools, go to inlovewithpmdd.com. Now let's get into today's episode. We got this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! And if you're hearing this, it is the 1st of February of 2025. It doesn't even matter when you're hearing this, but I am giving you permission to start a new year in your PMDD relationship. I know that January was very hard for a lot of you, especially if you started the new year and you felt like, I want things to be different, and then you're starting to feel like things are still the same in your PMDD relationship. I am giving you permission to use February or whenever you're listening to this as a fresh start in your PMDD relationship, because I know that when you get to the point where you feel like enough is enough and you want things to look different in your PMDD relationship and it doesn't, and it looks the same, sometimes you can just say, you can start to settle and say, this is just how my whole year is going to be. This is how my whole life is going to be, because I have premenstrual dysphoric disorder, because I'm in this relationship and I have things that I want and I need, and it's not fulfilling to me. Like the relationship itself is not fulfilling to me. And I don't know what to do to change it. I don't know where to start. So I remember starting the new year with all these goals, just like all of you, or just like some of you, or most of you, or whatever. And I was like, let me get into this momentum of the new year. And then every aspect of my journey has been learning more and progress later. So I want to tell you, if you're in the place where you haven't seen any progress in your PMDD relationship, you might be where I am, where it's like learning more and then progress later. One of the things that's really come up for me, and I wanted to really share it with you and offer it to you. And because I know I talk to you, a lot of you are my private clients, and a lot of you reach out to me on social media, whether it's Instagram, Dr. Rose _ in love with PMDD, the same thing on TikTok. And thank God TikTok didn't go away. I know there was a whole thing about that, but because I have a separate audience on there, because I just started TikTok in the beginning of 2023. But, I know a lot of you have been feeling like enough is enough. I need something to change in my PMDD relationship. And you've reached out to me and you said that you wanted to work with me. And I switched up the way that I'm offering my services to better serve you. And I didn't do it on the beginning of the year, mainly because I feel like there's so much pressure in January and the new year, especially when you have PMDD. Like, what if the new year started and you're in your luteal phase? You're like, oh, great, I need to start this new thing. It's so overwhelming. I have all these other areas of my life that I'm wanting to change, that I'm wanting to improve. And I just wanted to come to provide these services to you at a time where it's less overwhelming. You're not being, bombarded with all of these things, it doesn't matter what aspect of your PMDD relationship or your journey with PMDD that you want to improve. You do have to take intentional steps. And I never, never, never want that to feel overwhelming for you. So happy New Year. I'm going to go over a couple of ground rules today, just to have you understand because I get similar questions every single day and I feel like I'm answering the same ones. And it's like, I know on TikTok, it's like, do you have one-on-one sessions? That's what they call like a lot of the coaches that are on TikTok that are doing like dating coaching, relationship coaching. And I do counseling sessions. I do private sessions. That's what I call them. And I do have them available, but I really want to provide them to you in a way that feels good to you, that feels good to me, where I'm able to serve as many of you as possible and in a more structured way. I know earlier in my journey where I started counseling and it was kind of like, whenever you want to pop in and have a session, let me look at my calendar and I'll try to fit you in. And for me, that's been a little bit chaotic because I can get an email, I can get a DM, I can get a thing at any time, specifically when, clients are in the luteal phase or you're about to break up, and I get it, and I get it, and I get it, and I get it. But what I want you to really realize is that if you have premenstrual dysphoric disorder or your partner has premenstrual dysphoric disorder, you need to be on a consistent plan, not just a put the fire out because we're about to break up and then come back when you're about to break up again, because it's not good for you. It's not good for your nervous system. It's not good for your sense of security. If you're always in this place of never really knowing if the next month is going to be as good as this month or as horrible as this month, like you're not getting any sense of security. So you need consistent counseling, consistent sessions. And so what I'm going to do before we get into today, let me just give you a little bit of preview. We are going to be talking about the power of the PMDD regrets. And we're going to be talking about what it's like to be in a PMDD relationship and have a lot of regrets as to where you are, where you're going, and what that looks like and what you can do about it. Because as you know, every single episode here, I give you tools. So I'm not just going to tell you the problem, but what I've seen a lot of times is specifically at the end of 2024 and the beginning 2025, a lot of clients have just been like, I don't want to continue my relationship in this way. I don't want the beginning of 2026, which sounds insane that we would be going into that. But I feel like this year is flying by. I don't want next year to look the same. I don't want to be talking about the same issue. I don't want to be dealing with the same issue, because you have the knowledge that if nothing changes, nothing changes. If you do the same things that you've been doing in your PMDD relationship, you're not going to see anything different in the beginning of 2026 or 2027, 2028, or whenever you're looking at this. Just count the numbers of the next years. Nothing is going to look differently if you're doing things the same. So whether you're on this journey and you're just finding out that you have premenstrual dysphoric disorder, which I've had a lot of you DM me and say, I just found out, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. I get you. I know what that feels like. I know, number one, you're probably feeling relieved. And I'm pretty sure everybody here can attest to that. When you finally figure out what the thing is that's been causing all of this chaos and confusion and craziness and trauma in your relationship, you're probably relieved to know that it's not you, it's not your partner, it's PMDD. And that's a mantra that I use for all of my clients that are just finding out that there's PMDD in their relationship. It's not you, it's not your partner, it's PMDD. And we need to address it as such. So whether you're at that place where you're just discovering it, or you're at that place where you've been dealing with PMDD so long and you've done all of these external things to get rid of PMDD, to ease your PMDD, to do better, to do all the things, and it ends up being the same. It can be very frustrating where you can get to the point where you're like, I might as well just stop trying, because everything that I'm doing, we're still arguing, we're still fighting, we're still feeling the same way in PMDD. So what's the point? So today I'm going to tell you how I can best serve you. And then we're going to go into the episode and talk about the regrets. I've broken all of my packages down into very strategic plans as to where you are in your PMDD relationship, meaning what it is that you need in the moment. So if you go to my website, inlovewithpmdd.com, you will see it all laid out there, but I want to explain it to you right now. So the first thing is, that I have the course, My Partner Has PMDD, Now What? This is a course that I strongly, strongly, strongly encourage all partners to have in their arsenal to do when they first find out that their partner has PMDD, or they first find out that PMDD is the thing that's causing havoc in their PMDD relationship. Get the course. You need to get the course to understand how to be a more supportive PMDD partner. It's going to save you a lot of time. It's going to save you a lot of energy. So the first package that I have for you is the PMDD Relationship Breakthrough Package. What that means is you're going to get a copy of the course, and you're also going to get the private sessions that accompany that course. What the private sessions look like, there are 3 private sessions that you get in this package. And it's one with you as the PMDD partner, one that's you that is suffering with PMDD, and then I will give you customized tools with a session together. They're all 90 minutes. I don't do 60-minute sessions. I think it's a scam. Like, I don't believe that you can get through everything in one session that's 60 minutes. I remember trying that, and the staple, because I deal with a lot of psychiatrists, counselors, and all the things, and they're like 60 minutes. And really, it's not really 60 minutes, because there's really like this is a little behind the scenes. It's really like 45 minutes. And if you ever gone to get a massage, you know what that means. Like, you have a 60-minute session, but then you take time to undress in the dressing room, and then you take time to do all the things. You really only get 45 minutes of hands-on body. That's the same thing that happens in counseling sessions. You really only get 45 minutes of the counselor's time or the coach's time. And so with me, when I'm dealing with partners where there's 2 of you or even 1 of you, 60 minutes, 45 minutes is not enough, which is why all of my sessions are 90 minutes. You know, if you're my private clients, I have even gone as far as to extend that, because I always make sure that you're good. I'm never going to get off of a session where you're in the middle of going through something and then it's just like, okay, sorry, our time is up. Or, you know how you feel when you're in those counseling sessions and they're like playing the Grammy music and they're like wrapping it up and you're just getting to the meat of it, like it's just getting done. And you almost have this anxiety when you know that this session is about to end, because you're like, I'm just getting to the point where I'm opening up, or my partner's just getting to the point where they're opening up. And now your session is over in 10 minutes. So with all of my sessions, with all of my packages, they are 90 minutes, because that is the time frame where I feel that both of you, or even one of you, get a chance to really get out all of the things that we need to process, and you get the tools. So it's not just talk therapy where you're just talking about what's going on in your PMDD relationships. I'm giving you strategic, customized tools to what's going on in your PMDD relationship through every single session. So the first option is that PMDD Relationship Breakthrough Package, where you get the course for your partner, and then you get the sessions. You get 3 full 90-minute sessions, which is amazing, because you get those tools. And then the next option is you just get the PMDD Relationship Breakthrough Package, where it's just the sessions, where you just get 3 sessions. Maybe you're just coming to me and you're just realizing how much PMDD is impacting your journey. So there's 1 session with you, 1 session with your partner, and 1 session together, where I'm giving you those tools that you can use, implement immediately. Start to implement what is really going on with your PMDD relationship. You're getting my personalized one-on-one support. And then we're really understanding what is impacting you. Is it the communication? Is it the PMDD rage? Is it that you're not getting your needs met? I get to the bottom of what's going on in your PMDD relationship and give you tools that you can start to implement immediately. So that is that package. And the next package is what I feel like you all should have moving forward. After you have that initial 3 sessions or the 3 sessions with the course, then you need to have the PMDD Relationship Monthly Session Package. What this means is I am meeting with you on a monthly basis, which means I have 4 sessions with you every single week. You pick the day, you pick the time. I have clients in over 60 countries. So I know a lot of you are like, oh, you're on the West Coast. Oh, I'm on the East Coast. I have clients where I'm waking up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't matter. I customize my sessions to my clients, but I need to do it in a way that's more structured, so where I know what clients I'm going to have on a monthly basis for this package. So for this one, I meet with you. Either it's you yourself, you as the partner, or you as a PMDD sufferer. I meet with you every single week, whether your partner is in their luteal phase, or whether they're in their follicular phase, or whether they're in ovulation, or whether they're in menstruation. I know there's so many questions where it's like, what's the best time to work with my partner? Is it when they're in the luteal phase, or when I do not believe in not having sessions because you're in your luteal phase. and you want to hibernate, because this is when you are alone with your thoughts. This is when a lot of the damage is done. And I don't want you to hide, and I don't want you to isolate, and I don't want you to be dealing with those things alone. I don't need you to show up as your best when you come on sessions. Like, I have some clients that literally put, the camera, or the phone or the iPad, whatever, the tablet, they literally put it in their bed. They put it in their car. They put it at the gym. They go on a walk with me. I have some clients that just have me in their ear. We're not even on video, and we're just talking on the phone, basically, because they don't want to put their camera on. It really doesn't matter to me. I don't need to see your face in order for me to serve you and to give you the tools. So whatever feels most comfortable for you, whatever feels most comfortable to your partner. I was just in the gym earlier today, and I had a client message me and say that they needed a session, and they just wanted to have, I was in the car, or they were in the car. I was in the car with them, meaning they just put me on their Bluetooth, and they had a session with me because they had a little bit of a longer drive, and they needed to process things. They needed to know how to react, how to respond to a certain situation. And this is where the gold is. It is the ongoing support. So option 3 is something that I feel like every single PMDD partner or PMDD sufferer needs on a monthly basis. And what this means is we're having ongoing check-ins, adjusting the tools that I'm giving you, finding out what works and what doesn't work. And then also, if you are in my monthly package, then you get discounts on all of the programs that I have, all of the upcoming courses. You get a monthly PMDD relationship workbook that's really going to have customized tools, things for you to do, things for your partner to do. And then also you have a private box or email support, meaning I will respond to you within 24 hours with whatever it is that you're going through in your PMDD relationship if you are on this next package. And then if you have trailed off and you're not one of these options, meaning you don't have the monthly package, you're not getting the package with the course, then there's also the one session package. Basically, you just have something going on. And this is what I think a lot of times partners need, or, that are just having this really big issue and they need like a strategy session. What can we do about this? We have this really big thing coming up and we just need to meet with you. And that's it. Like, everything's going okay. We're stabilized. Everything's going great, but we need to have this one session. And I have that offering for you. So those are the 4 ways to work with me in 2025 and beyond, because I really want to make sure that I'm giving you everything that you need, and not just when you're in this place of crisis, not just when you're in this place of fight or flight and you're freaking out because your partner has left you. A lot of times, the reason why our sessions can be so long and so overwhelming for the clients that just pop in every single time, like, hey, my partner's about to leave me, I need something to do, because I'm literally going back months and months and months for what's been going on in your PMDD relationship, honestly. And it's something that if you were on the monthly package, it would be less overwhelming for you. It would be like, hey, let's refer to these tools that Dr. Rose said. How about we do this? Like, you would be able to talk to your partner and have those tools that you can use, rinse and repeat. Because once I understand you, once I understand your partner, then I can be able to provide you tools that are ongoing, that you're just building on those things. And I know a lot of you have issues with co-parenting. A lot of you have issues with things that are really going on in your life. You need that consistent support. This is not like a one-time thing. So I want to make sure I'm offering that to you. All of the sessions will be available in the show notes. You can click the link, or you can go to inlovewithpmdd.com. You will see it as an option. But I will tell you, because I get this question all the time, where do I start? Where you start, I truly believe, is you start with option 1, which is you get the package that has the course for your partner. Therefore, your partner gets the tools. We have the sessions, and then we make a plan moving forward. We make a PMDD plan moving forward, and then we can meet on a monthly basis. So let's get into today's episode. I just want to make sure that I explain that to you, because I feel like sometimes you're listening and you're feeling like, Dr. Rose, this is resonating with me. I really need help. What is the first step? I don't know. You're looking at the website. You're like, I don't know what to do first. And so I'm letting you know the first step, get the course. And then I'm going to be coming out with more courses throughout the year. But I also say pair the courses with the private sessions, because after you look at the course, you get the tools, then we can talk about what resonated with you. What is it that you really need to apply and customize it to your specific PMDD relationship? Because a lot of times when you're doing these courses and you're doing these things, you don't have a guide. I will tell you, for me, my dating mentor, I'm in I think I'm in 3 courses at this point. And one of them is a course where I'm just working on my standards, my boundaries, my self-love, all of the things that became completely depleted in my last relationship. And as I'm going through the course, it's, self-paced. I needed to check in with the founder of the course, and I've needed to have private sessions with her. And because it's not just listening to something, that's why you can listen to a podcast, you can read a book, but then you need that guidance and that support of, how do I apply this to my relationship? What does this mean? I have questions about this. That's why all of my courses that I'm going to provide for you are going to come with the option of getting the package where you get the 3 sessions. And it could be 3 sessions with just you, where it's like, hey, I got this course. It really resonates with me. I will tell you, I will give you a little bit of preview. My next course is going to be on PMDD Rage, which is like one of the main things that does the most damage in PMDD relationships. And I'm going to have it with a package where we can talk about how has PMDD Rage really impacted your relationship, because the reason why I know it causes the most damage is because it makes you act the most out of character. When you're in the realm of PMDD Rage, you're saying things, you're doing things, and the words don't leave. The hurtful things that you say to your partner, just because you say sorry, or even if you move on, they don't go away, and it causes a lot of damage. And so I'm going to make sure that I'm providing you the support after that so that we can in depth talk about how we can apply those tools to your PMDD relationship. So what I want to talk about today is 10 regrets that can happen in a PMDD relationship. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because over the course of the years, the many, many years, 19 years to be exact, of having premenstrual dysphoric disorder, that has been my worst fear, is having any regrets in my PMDD relationship. Meaning, with my last relationship, I wanted to make sure that I did everything that I could do before I made the decision to break up. I really would not even allow myself to even entertain the option of breaking up, knowing that I hadn't done everything that I could do. And what I mean by everything that I could do is utilize all the tools that I use with my private clients and say, hey, let's have these private sessions. Let's have these conversations. Let me lay out specifically what I feel and get an opportunity to hear what you feel as my partner needs to be done in this relationship. And let's just plan it out and see if that's something that we're willing to do, if that's something that we're wanting to do to save the relationship. And I didn't want to walk away without having that conversation. I have facilitated a lot of breakups, even though my mantra is I stop the monthly PMDD breakups. I have facilitated a lot of PMDD breakups where you can do it amicably, where you can do it in a way where it's just not healthy for the both of you to even be together at this point. Not because you can't, but because it really has to do with the willingness. If I give you the tools and I say, hey, in order to save your PMDD relationship, this is what you have to do, and we have one partner that's willing and one partner that's not, it's not going to work. Both partners have to be willing to do the work. And if you're both not willing, it's not going to work. And that's okay. But I just make sure that we try, because it could be something where you feel like, I've been to counselors, I've been to therapists, I've been to psychotherapists, and I get that you can get what I call counselor fatigue, therapist fatigue, where you've been to so many other people and you feel like it hasn't worked. So now you're getting hopeless. You're like, I don't even think this is going to work. I get it. I've been there before. And what I will say is, if you've worked with other counselors, therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, gynecologists, all the things, if they have not specifically identified PMDD as the issue and applied PMDD strategic tools, I'm saying this with like a big sign. It can't be anything that's basic. Basic tools don't work on PMDD. PMDD is probably going to like spit it out and be like, what else you got for me? Because cognitive behavioral therapy, gestalt therapy, where you do the talk therapy, just talking about your issues, EDM, I'm thinking about my music festivals, Anything, the tapping, which I love, anything that a counselor, therapist, psychologist has done in your PMDD relationship that doesn't necessarily address PMDD needs to be an add-on. So I will tell a lot of my clients, if you do have a private therapist, a counselor, psychologist for other issues in your PMDD relationship, you don't have to stop working with them. You need to address the issues with me as far as PMDD is concerned. But if you have other things that are not related to PMDD that are going on with you or going on with your partner, you absolutely can continue to work with them. I'm not telling you that you shouldn't, but I'm saying if PMDD is the main thing that's causing havoc in your PMDD relationship, you need to be getting tools specifically for that. So I can either be the main person that you're seeing as professional help, or I could be on the side and it's just a supplement for whatever else that you're going through. It's kind of like with working out. You don't just do cardio and weights, for example. You do cardio and weights because you want to build muscle and you want to reduce the fat. Like, and I know that because I'm a personal trainer. Like, I never would tell any of my clients, I have a billion jobs, by the way. I never would tell my clients that I'm training physically, like, hey, you only need to lift weights and that's it. No, you need to do cardio to reduce the fat. Otherwise, you're just going to be big and bulky. And if that's your vibe, that's your vibe. But everything that I do is holistic. By holistic, I mean it's paired together. Right now, at this point in my life, personally, let me count. Okay, so I have my dating mentor, I have my business mentor, I have my self-love guru, I would call her. She's amazing. She lives in Turkey and she's helping me on my self-love journey. And then I have one that is helping me detach, which I thought that I had done, but things keep coming up. I have 4 professionals that I am paying on a monthly basis at this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're not cheap. I would say when you're seeking help, invest. And I know, could I Google it on my own? Could I DIY it? Could I Reddit it? Could I Facebook group it? Yeah. Is it going to be specific and customized to me? No. So the reason why the way that I found my dating mentor, I was looking on TikTok because my algorithm was like having all these things about these dating coaches and these dating mentors that had all these methods of what to do and all the things. And I was confused. Like, information without strategic tools and customizing it to your specific PMDD relationship almost makes it more confusing because you have all this information and some of it can be conflicting. It's like, should I do this? Should I do that? And I was like, you know what? I can't deal with this. Like, I need someone to tell me specifically what it is that I need to do, what it is that I need to work on in my journey right now. So I have 4 people that are on the payroll that I'm paying on a monthly basis to really help me for the journey that I'm in. And I would say whatever it is that you're going through, if you're at that place where intimacy is a problem in your PMDD relationship, you're not feeling comfortable in your body, so now it's impacting your intimacy, and you're wanting to feel more active, you're feeling sluggish, you have inflammation in your body, like nutritionists, workout people that keep you accountable. Basically what it is accountability. It's not, sometimes when I go on my sessions with my private people, it's not even they're telling me things that I don't already know. They're holding me accountable to do the things that I need to do. And if they weren't there in my life, I probably wouldn't be doing them. And I will be completely honest with you. Like, for example, my PMDD Partner morning routine, if I didn't have accountability for that, like I just got back in town. I just came back from San Diego. I was teaching at a conference on suicide prevention for one of my other companies where I strategically do trauma counseling. And I held a conference and we talked all about suicide prevention. And I was there, and it was just when, ironically, I was traveling when the big accident happened that came out of where the plane had crashed into the U.S. Army helicopter. And it crashed, and that was traumatic for everybody to see that you're about to travel. And we just had this tragedy in January. So if you've not heard about it, if you've not Googled it, I mean, it's really been all on social media. And it's basically where a U.S. Army helicopter crashed into a plane and everybody died. I think it was like, I don't even want to say the amount of people because I'm not sure at this point because they're still investigating it, but it was very traumatic. And I was already in San Diego. I needed to travel home. I needed to get back. And that was one of those situations where it's like, wow, this is really heavy because I travel on a monthly basis as a form of my PMDD journey. And if I didn't have someone that I could reach out and talk to, like that would have been a problem for me. So part of my PMDD partner morning routine is getting really honest with me about what's coming up for me. And everything that's coming up for me is different every single month. Even with dating and being single, I still have things that come up for me on a daily basis. And it doesn't matter if I'm in ovulation, if I'm in menstruation, if I'm in my luteal phase or my follicular phase, things come up for me and I can't deal with it on my own. And I think that's the biggest thing that I had to realize. I cannot deal with it on my own, and I don't have to. There are people that are subject matter experts in every area of my life that I could be struggling with, and I need to have that team on my side that I can reach out to. And the only way that I can really have that team on my side is to invest. This is the reason why we get insurance for our car. Like you don't have an accident all the time, but you have insurance that you pay on a monthly basis so that in the event that you go through something and you get in an accident, that insurance company is like, hey, I'm on your side. I got you. You've been paying this premium. I'm here to support you. What is it that you need? Nobody gets car insurance after the crash. Like it just doesn't happen. And so everything that you do for your livelihood, if you haven't noticed this, and this is how I rationalized it, because I looked at like, wow, this is a big investment for me on a monthly basis. But then I thought about it. I was like, well, these are the areas of my life that I need support on a monthly basis. Why am I okay with paying rent or a mortgage every single month, but I'm not okay with having a counselor on standby for specific issues that I know that I'm going to have to deal with? You pay rent every month because you need that support of having a roof over your head. Right? For my daughter, she's in private school. I homeschool her, but it's not like the curriculum is from a private school. I pay for that every single month. You pay for the things that you invest in and you care about. I have a dog. I have puppy insurance, dog insurance. I keep saying puppy because he's small, even though he's like 7 years old, but I have insurance for him every single month. Do I have to take him to the doctors every single month? Do I, is something going on bad with him? No. But in the event that something is happening, I have someone that knows him, that knows his history, that knows his background, that at any moment I can take him in. So what happens is when I become your counselor for PMDD and your PMDD relationship, if I'm not already working with you, if I don't know the background, it's harder for me to help you if you're just popping in and popping out whenever you're in a state of crisis. Like that's why they give you a primary care provider as your doctor, meaning your doctor already knows the background of you. You've already done the blood work. They know all of these things. And if anything happens, you come into the doctor's office. But guess what? You're paying for that insurance on a monthly basis. At least I know it here in America you do. I know in other countries they provide that to you and all the things. But for America, and a lot of other countries, you have to pay for it. So rent, car insurance, medical insurance, anything that's really going to be detrimental to where it's going to affect your livelihood. And if you don't think that PMDD affects your livelihood, keep going. Because when things are not going well in your PMDD relationship, it will literally impact every other area of your life. It will impact your work. It will impact your relationship with your kids. It will impact your relationship with yourself. It'll impact your PMDD symptoms. It'll impact your mindset. Like, I know what it feels like to feel like you're so trapped in a PMDD relationship. Things are just crazy every single day. And you begin to like think that this is the norm. This is normal. If I want to be with this person, this is how it has to be. And I'm here to tell you, no, it doesn't. This is what it looks like when you're not getting help. This is what it looks like when you're trying to wing it and do it yourself. It took me, I've had PMDD for not over, but 19 years at this point. I used to say 18, but now we crossed over. And it's 19 years. Nothing is new to me. So if you're coming to me as my private client and you know from one session with me, the introductory session and all the things, you already know. There's nothing you can tell me that can surprise me. I've seen it all. I've seen the verbal abuse. I've seen the physical abuse. I've seen the chaos. There's nothing to be ashamed about, because I've seen it all. And I'm not going to go to, oh, you need to break up with your partner, or, oh, that's a toxic relationship, or, oh, I don't think you need to be there. That's not the solution that you want. If you're coming to me, you're wanting to save your PMDD relationship. So I'm not going to give you advice on how to break up. if that's not what you really want. If you want to break up, you can always tell me that, but I'm going to show you how to save your relationship. And one of the things that, as we're getting into the regrets, is letting PMDD control your relationship. So one of the regrets that you can really have when you really look back on your PMDD relationship is realizing too late that you allowed PMDD symptoms to dictate how you treated your partner instead of learning tools on how to manage them. This is a lot of times where you figure out that you have PMDD, or you're just getting really introspective and you're like, wow, like the reason why my PMDD relationship sucks or I'm struggling with it is because I treated my partner horribly. And instead of learning tools, and this could be you for the partner that has PMDD or the partner that doesn't have PMDD, you're walking around with a lot of guilt. And instead of learning tools on how to manage your PMDD or manage what happens when your partner goes into PMDD, you have regrets, because PMDD literally has the wheel on your relationship. It's literally letting you know what you can do, what you can't do, all the things. So the next regret that you can have in your PMDD relationship is saying hurtful things that you cannot take back. I don't know how many times, and this is why I have a whole, I have a workbook, and I'm going to be working on something as far as on a monthly basis starting in March, but I have a whole workbook on hurtful words and how painful they are, hence hurtful, and how much damage they can do in your PMDD relationship. So you may be in a place where you're regretting the impulsive words that you've spoken to your partner during PMDD Rage, and it caused emotional damage to your partner. Like you're feeling like, I'm remembering the things that I said. I'm remembering the things that I've done when I was in PMDD Rage, and I regret it. And you're literally saying, I regret being in that place where I would talk to my partner like that, where I would say things like that. And you saying things like, I have such an amazing partner because but you're crediting your partner for accepting verbal abuse. So a lot of times when you're giving credit to your partner, you're expressing gratitude, you're like, oh, I have such an amazing partner because they allow me when I go off on PMDD Rage, they just take it. Or maybe you have a partner that's a little bit more passive. But what I can tell you from having a lot of clients that are the partners, they deal with so much internally. So even if they're not arguing back with you, even if they're not yelling back at you, even if they're not cussing back at you, they are going through so much. And at some point, they may get to a point where they're like, enough is enough. I'm not dealing with this. And they're not going to like that version of themselves that is allowing themselves to be disrespected. That's why I'm going to make it very clear. If you feel like your partner is so amazing because they're accepting your verbal abuse when you're in PMDD, and you're feeling like there's nothing that you need to do about it because they're not really reacting to it, oh, they're feeling it. They're just not expressing it. And slowly they're dying inside. Their self-esteem is going down because there's that little voice that's telling them, why are you letting her talk to you like that? Why are you not feeling that you deserve better? Why are you allowing yourself to feel like this is the best that you can do with someone that is talking crap about you, that is blaming you, that is shaming you, that is criticizing you, that is getting defensive on you, that's creating an environment where you can't talk about everything? So just because your partner is not responding to the things that happen when you go off on PMDD Rage doesn't mean that they're not affected. I know because I've counseled them, and they're like, I just don't want to rock the boat. I just don't want to say anything that's going to further, deplete my partner or make them feel bad in PMDD. And they start off with this intentionality of, I just need to suck it up and I just need to deal with it, until they get to a point where they can't. It's not sustainable. It's genuinely not sustainable to deal with all of the verbal and physical abuse that has happened with PMDD Rage. I don't care how much you love someone, how much you care about them. And I'm going to do a completely separate episode on the impact that this has on your family, with your kids, with the children, because I now have clients that are as young as 13 years old that are kind of like the partners I'm dealing with. I'm having sessions with them because of what they've had to see their mommy and their daddy or their caretaker do when PMDD was in the mix, and the impact that it's had on them and the trauma that it's had on them. And these are little boys and little girls. So it's not even just little girls that have premenstrual dysphoric disorder. These are little boys that are seeing their mommy go off on their dad or their other mom or them because they're in PMDD. And this is trauma that you are inflicting on your child that they are going to deal with for years and years to come if you don't learn how to manage your PMDD for not just you, but your whole relationship. Your children are seeing what a relationship should be by looking at you and your partner. And if you're in that place as the adult, as the responsible party to take care of them, and you're exposing them to trauma, and then later on they have relationships and they get in toxic relationships, you're going to reflect on that. And this is where the regret is going to come in, because you're going to be like, I wish I would have been able to show my child, the child that I'm caring for, a healthy relationship. That's what I was dealing with. I'm on my second marriage and things are not good. And my daughter sees it, and she's in her teenage years, and she is witnessing me enduring disrespect. And that was the biggest catalyst for the decision that I made, because I asked myself, if my daughter was in a relationship with someone, and this is so good, I'm going to give this to you right now. This is what helped me make most of the important decisions in my PMDD relationships. If the way that your partner speaks to you, how they're speaking to you on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, would you allow your child to be sitting in the room with how your partner is speaking to you? Would you allow your child to be sitting in the room with the way that you speak to your partner? Ask yourself that question. The next time you feel like going off on your partner, or the next time you see your partner about to go off on you, ask yourself if you place someone that you respect, that you love and adore, that you're caring for in the room. And this could be, if you don't have kids, your parents. What would it look like if your parents saw the way you talk to your partner and the way your partner talks to you? What would it look like and feel like if your child was in the room and saw the way that you talk to your partner and the way that your partner talks to you? What kind of regret would you have? What kind of example would you be setting to them? Letting them know that this is what you're accepting for your life, because you're the CEO of your life. No one's forcing you to be there. No one's forcing you to stay in this situation without getting the tools. So I'm not saying break up. So don't even go there. I already know it's in the forefront of your mind where you're like, you're right, Dr. Rose, I should break up. That's not what I'm saying. Stop trying to take the easy way out and not addressing the issues that are going on in your PMDD relationship. Stop it. Let breaking up be your only option. Stop. Because what you're doing is you're neglecting the fact that you're in a relationship. It takes effort. It takes work, and it's worth it. It is absolutely worth it. But you're going to have regret if we're going into the next one where you're blaming your partner for everything. Accountability is so important. And I've been working with a lot of clients lately on this mutual accountability. Do not come to me and tell me what your partner's doing, where you're blaming them and you're shaming them and you're criticizing them. Because I guarantee you, if we get to the root of it, you're doing something too. There is mutual accountability. This is not about blaming your partner or shaming them for what they said or what they did. You're going to have regret if you're looking back and recognizing that you put all of the responsibility on the damage and the trauma in the relationship on them instead of working together to manage your PMDD. This is not a competition. You are in this relationship to work on things together. I don't know why it would make you feel good if you're less to blame than them. If you're like, they're the ones that's the problem. It's them, it's them, it's them. Why would that make you feel good with someone that you love and adore? Why would you want to hurt them like that? Why would you want them to feel bad about themselves? Why is that a solution for you to just come to the conclusion that everything is their fault because they have PMDD, or everything is their fault because they can't handle my PMDD? And I'm this person on the side. I'm a victim in this. Stop it. There is mutual accountability for every single thing that happens in your PMDD relationship. It's not all their fault. It's not all your fault. And a lot of times It's not all PMDD's fault. It is a mixture of all of it, and you need to take mutual accountability and find out, not just blaming, but get to the root of the issue and find out what you can do about it. And the next way that you can have a lot of regret is pushing your partner away every single time you go into PMDD. So if you're the partner, maybe you're isolating when you find out that your partner's in their luteal phase and you're like, I'm out. And I've had partners that have done this. When they realize that I'm in PMDD, they've gotten so tired of it. They're just like, you know what? I have this to do. I have a business trip. I have making excuses to not be around your partner because they're in the luteal phase as a partner. And if you're in PMDD, it's like isolating and avoiding and saying, I'm going to just isolate and hibernate because I already know that I could potentially go off on them. So I'm just going to isolate. So what this is repeatedly breaking up or emotionally and physically distancing yourself during PMDD. And you struggle to rebuild trust at that time because when you get out of your luteal phase, when you get out of PMDD, then you want to come back and be like, hey, how's it going? Because you're feeling great. You've just isolated them for 7 to 10 to 14 days. What is it that you're expecting them to connect to? If you pull the plug on something, I'll give you a perfect example. If you don't charge your phone and you let your phone go dead for 2 weeks, let your car battery go dead for 2 weeks, and then you try to start it up, nothing's going to happen. Nothing is going to happen because you've disconnected it from the power source. You are the power source in your PMDD relationship, you and your partner together. So if you're unplugging yourself during PMDD and then you're wondering why your partner's not getting on board with you right after, because it takes time to rebuild that comfortability. It takes time to rebuild that trust. It takes time to rebuild that intimacy. And guess what? You're disconnecting for 2 weeks and then it's taking you 7 days to reconnect and finally get into that sweet spot. And this is why a lot of you are saying, I only have 1 good week a month, because what are you doing for the other 3 weeks? You're disconnecting, trying to reconnect, and then you're going right back into PMDD. This is a toxic pattern that's not sustainable because your partner is going to be sitting there like, what the heck is going on? Like, I'm not doing this for the rest of my life. That's what they're going to say. They're going to be like, I'm not doing this pattern that doesn't feel good for the rest of my life. And then you're going to regret it. So the next thing that you can do that you could have regrets in your PMDD relationship is not communicating what you really need. I talked about this earlier today with a client. Some of you are sharing your body with someone that you won't share your heart and your mind to. And I'm going to repeat that. You are sharing your body with someone. You're having sex with them. You're being affectionate. You're being loving. You're doing all of these things. But then you have all of these conversations that you feel like you can't have with them. You're like, oh, I couldn't possibly say this and I couldn't possibly say that. But then you're opening up your body to them. How? How are you doing that? How do you feel comfortable enough to expose yourself physically, but not emotionally? Not mentally, not what's really going on with you in PMDD. And I know that you're doing this because I have private sessions with you and you're saying things to me that you've never said to your partner. And I'm fine. There's no judgment. There's no shame. I remember being in that place where I felt like I had to hold it all in, where every single thing that I knew that I wanted to say, I felt like it was going to trigger my partner. So I didn't say it. But it was eating me up inside. But when it became time to be intimate, when it became time to share my body, it was almost easier. It was easier to share myself physically than it was to share myself emotionally and mentally. And I want to ask yourself if you're in that place right now. If you're in that place where you're fine with having sex, you're fine with going through the motions, acting like everything's great, everything's fine, everything's great, we're good, but you're really not. Your needs are not met. Ask yourself that question. And I did this when I was in my PMDD relationship. I asked myself that question, are my needs being met? And I asked this to every partner and every sufferer. Are your needs being met? If the answer is no, let's address that, because it's going to be so much harder to work on your PMDD relationship when your needs are not met. If I'm starving physically, with intimacy, with emotional connection, I feel like I can't talk to you. You're leaving the door open, because guess what? A void is a void. And what I mean by that, I've seen a lot of infidelity happen and a lot of regrets that have come from that, because you're so starved emotionally that if the wind blows and somebody says something nice to you and they're like, oh, you look so beautiful today. And you're like, that's so amazing. Oh my gosh, I really like this person. You're going to get so attached to the breadcrumbs that people are giving you because you're so starved emotionally and you're so starved with intimacy. Somebody come across and hold your hand or touch your hand that's not your partner or whatever it is. And because you're so starved of intimacy, it's going to feel like the best thing since sliced bread. I went through that when I ended my relationship and I was starved, parched, depleted when it came to emotional and physical intimacy. Like, this is a horrible, horrible, horrible place to be going into the dating world because we were long distance, so the physical intimacy wasn't there. And when it was very obligatory. It was not based off of emotional intimacy. It was kind of like going through the motions. And then emotionally, we weren't connected. So everything that was being said and done towards the end, it was very robotic. Like, oh, I love you. I care about you. Like, there was no emotion connected to it. So when I went into dating, my battery was on E. And so when someone said or did like the least little thing, I was like, oh my gosh, they really like me. Oh my gosh. Like, I ate it up like Gerber. Like, I was so starved of emotional and physical intimacy that I accepted breadcrumbs. I accepted low quality individuals because they were giving me high quality things that I needed. And what I mean by they were saying things and whether they meant them or not, I was so depleted. And that's when I kind of had to go back to the drawing board because I was like, why am I accepting this individual and not shading anyone? But it wasn't really who I wanted to be with. But because they were giving me parts of the places that were depleted, I was accepting it. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. I was painting this picture that I had these amazing things and they were this amazing person when there really was not. Like, I was blinded. And I had a couple clients that were like this where they experienced infidelity, and the person that they cheated with, they weren't the 80 rule. And I'm doing a completely separate episode on that, on like the 80-20 rule, which is someone can give you either they have 80% of what you want and 20% is not there. But I was accepting the 20. I was literally like, if you're being affectionate with me and you're saying loving things, like, that was my 80. I was overlooking all of these other areas of their life. And I was like, nope, that's all I need. Because I was depleted in the 20. And so that was the regret that I had. The regret that I had was accepting less than what I deserved because I was starving in a specific place in my PMDD relationship that I had before. And I had to really get help with that. And I still am. I'm still rebuilding myself to the point where I can look at it holistically and understand that if someone comes to me and they're really affectionate with me, that's a weakness that I have right now because I was so starved of that. Like, I have to understand the void. I was so starved of physical intimacy that if someone that I'm dating and they're really affectionate, which I used to think that physical touch was not my love language. And I recognized that it actually was. I just wasn't in a place where I was expressing it. I wasn't in a place where I felt open and safe to do so. And now when I'm dating, I have to be so mindful that if they're immediately affectionate, because some people are, it's not even like a sexual thing. Like, they're just really touchy feely people. But for me, I'm like melting because I'm like, it's like this void that is like, oh my gosh, finally, like, they're putting their arm around me. They're holding my hand. Like, I was starved of that. And I have to realize the deficit that I was in. And so a lot of regrets is you're allowing your partner to be depleted in that area. Like, that was a gradual process. It took years for me to get to the point of depletion of where I am right now. And I can presently admit it and put my hands up and be really like, how I said, mutual accountability. That's a weakness of mine. And it's a weakness and a strength. It's a weakness because I'm depleted, but it's a strength because it's so beautiful when it's connected to someone that I'm emotionally connected to. It's so beautiful when it's paired together. But if I'm in a place of only accepting the physical, like, I love that you hold my hand. I love that you put your arm around me. I love that, all of these things. And then I'm ignoring all of these other red flags or things about you. That's a problem. Like, you need that holistic point of view. So if you're in your relationship and you feel like the only thing that's keeping you together is that physical intimacy, which I dealt with a client like that the other day, It's like pretty much the only thing that was keeping them together was that they had great sex. Nobody knew what was really going on in their mind. Nobody knew what was really going on in their heart, but they had great sex. And that's pretty much the only thing that they used to repair their relationship. And I'm going to tell you, as a counselor, as your PMDD relationship psychotraumatologist, great sex is not a strategic tool for your PMDD relationship. I'm going to repeat that. Great sex is not a strategic tool for your PMDD relationship. It's not really addressing any of the issues that you actually have. It's putting a Band-Aid over it. So if you feel like you're in that place where it's like, that's the only thing that is keeping you in the relationship, it's not sustainable. Because you know why? I'm coming in real close for this. You can have great sex with anyone. You can. There's no depth to it. There's no depth. Like, yes, there's compatibility where you have to but if you really wanted to, you could have great sex with anyone. Why would you want to be connected to someone based off of something that you can recreate with, the guy down the street, right? It's all physical. Our bodies are biologically, chemically trained that if someone was really skilled and like really navigating it, they can learn how to have great sex with you. Do they have to be emotionally connected? Do they have to learn you? Do they have to know you? No, absolutely not. They can learn how to make you have an amazing orgasm. Then what? So the next regret that you may have is neglecting your partner's feelings, realizing too late that your partner also suffers in the luteal phase and needs emotional support, validation, affection, attention, and you're recognizing it too late. That can be a sense of regret because when they finally open up and tell you all of the things that they're really wanting and needing, you're like, man, I really let them get to a place where they're depleted. I want you to ask yourself that right now while we're on this episode and while you're listening. Is there any area of your partner's life that could be depleted? Because guess what? If you're in a relationship, that's on you, boo-boo. When it comes to intimacy, you are their intimate partner. I am all for self-love. I am all for loving yourself. But when it comes to intimacy with your partner, it is your partner's responsibility to be adding to the tank, putting gas in that tank. When is the last time that you've done something that has contributed to your partner's emotional and or physical intimacy? When? So the next regret that you can have is avoiding conversations about boundaries. And I did a completely different episode on this, but boundaries was something that I really regretted not setting clear boundaries about space, about emotional regulation, about self-care. And it led to a lot of fights and arguments in my PMDD relationship. And then when I was dating, initially, I wasn't setting those clear boundaries because I was like, oh, I need to tailor my life to their routine, their life. I regretted it because I let myself not get what it is that I needed for the sake of my partner. And I ended up getting resentful and bitter about it because, again, it's not sustainable. If you're consistently pouring into your partner and you're not getting what it is that you need, you're going to feel resentful. You're going to feel bitter. You're going to want to get out, and it's going to be on you because you're going to regret not setting those boundaries earlier. Because when you try to set boundaries later on, your partner's going to be like, what are you talking about? Like if you try to set these boundaries of like, from this point moving forward, we need to do this, this, and this. And they're going to be like, but you accepted these breadcrumbs. Like, why do you want more now? You accepted that I wasn't giving you affection, attention, validation. Why are you saying that this is what you're requiring now? This is where you get into the realm of regret because you're like, I should have just told them what I was really feeling and what I really needed in the beginning. Because what you need shouldn't be contingent upon what they're willing to give. That's so good. What you need is not contingent upon what they're willing to give. What you need is what you need. That's a separate entity. What you need is what you need. This is why journaling is so powerful. Journaling by yourself and really understanding what is it that I need. And if they're not willing to give it, they're not willing to give it. You don't change what you need based off of what they're willing to give you. I need this, but they're only willing to give me this. Okay, well, then I'll accept that. No, you need what you need. If I go into a relationship and I know that physical touch is one of my love languages now, and I say, I need physical touch, I need physical affection. But then this person says, I'm not really into physical touch. I'm not like a touchy-feely person. So then I have to adjust my needs to that person and say, I guess I'm not going to get any physical attention. No, I still need physical affection. I don't care that you're not touchy-feely. Maybe you're not the right one for me because I'm never going to stop needing what I need. The need and the void is not going anywhere. Your willingness to provide it is what's going to be the difference. I've been with partners that they have a love language that is not my love language. Do I say that was a client? Do I say to them that, oh, I'm not going to give you what it is that you need because it's not in the realm of what I'm willing to give? Like, it's not my natural thing. Like if, let me pick a love language, gifts. I'm not really like a big gift person, but if I meet someone and they're a gift person, like they feel loved when I give them a gift, I'm not going to be like, oh, and they tell me this and we have a conversation and they're like, yeah, I love gifts. And I'm like, oh, that's not my thing. I don't really do that. They're still going to want the gifts. And can I rationalize it and make it seem like it's a horrible thing, which is a lot of time what happens. It's like, oh, you're so materialistic, or, oh, this is, yeah, you can rationalize not giving the person that you love and care about what it is that they need to feel loved and cared about. Absolutely. You're going to regret it later on because there's going to be some person that is more than willing to step outside of their comfortability and give your partner what it is that they need. So stop looking so intrinsically about what you're comfortable with and recognize that you're connecting to a person that is outside of who you are. And that's your obligation. If you're agreeing to be in a relationship, that's your job. Your job is not to have your partner mirror you and want the same things that you want and do the same things that you can do. They're different people. You're deciding to connect yourself with this person, which is you saying, I'm willing to take whatever it is that you need and try, and I have the capability of giving it to you in a relationship. Am I requiring you to completely depend on me? Am I saying that you're not going to love yourself? No, but I'm agreeing to be with you. So obviously I can handle it. Like, who decides to buy a car that they can't drive? Like, I have a big truck. I have a Nissan Titan. I have a big pickup truck, which apparently is a very, like, when I'm going on dates and they see me roll up in my truck, they're just like, that's different. Like, it's a big red pickup truck. It's a little, I'm not little. I'm 5'6", I'm 5'7", I'm 5'6.5". But I'm coming out the car looking cute. And then I have this big pickup truck. And a lot of guys are just like, I wouldn't buy a pickup truck if I couldn't drive a pickup truck. Like, what is the point? What is the point of driving it every day and I can't park it? I can't drive it, especially in California where the parking spots are tiny. Like, this truck was made for Texas where they have really big parking spaces, but it's just like a partner. Why would you have a partner that you can't operate? This is what your partner needs. They're telling you upfront what they need. And at any point, what your partner needs can change in the PMDD relationship. You could have known them for 5 years, 10 years. If they come to you one day and they're like, hey, I want you to start opening doors for me. I just really want to lean into my feminine energy. And I want you to start doing these things that really helps me do that and blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, oh yeah, that's not me. Why would you continue the relationship if you're not willing to do what it is that your partner is clearly telling you that they need? So the next thing that you can do that's a regret for your PMDD relationship is letting the fear of PMDD define the relationship. Wishing that you had approached PMDD earlier and worked through it earlier and all of the things. Again, don't beat yourself up about just now starting to work on your PMDD relationship. I gave you the 3 packages or 4. I think it's 3, 4, or 5. You can go back and listen to it. The packages that you can work with me with. Don't beat yourself up that you haven't come to me sooner or that you haven't found help sooner, but you're letting the fear of PMDD every single time that you go into PMDD define the relationship. I always say your PMDD relationship, but I really want your relationship to be so much more than PMDD, because if your relationship is all about PMDD, it is going to be exhausting. I talked a little bit about my PMDD routine and what the things that I've done to help my PMDD, and I have to do those things on a monthly basis so that any dating relationship that I have, companionship, whatever you want to call it, it's not all about PMDD. And that's what I was realizing I was making a mistake about earlier, and I regret letting my life be defined by premenstrual dysphoric disorder. I am so much more than PMDD. There are so many other aspects of me than PMDD. And if you look on my Instagram stories, Dr. Rose _ in love with PMDD, I share my journey every single day. And a lot of it is not PMDD related. And I have you DM me, like, what day are you in PMDD? Because I used to I still track my cycle. I still do all the things, but I don't let PMDD be such a huge part of me. Like, obviously it's a part of my work and it's a part of what I do, but there's so many other beautiful sides to me, and you'll see me vlog my life and live my life. And there's so many other things about me. There's so many other things about me that have nothing to do with PMDD that your partner or someone that you're dating would love. So if I'm in the dating realm and I'm meeting someone and I just, throw PMDD out there and I'm like, a PMDD, they're going to be like, okay, buddy, like, I get it. You told me you have PMDD, and like, why are we talking about PMDD all the time? Like, they're never going to really get to know the core of who I am. The core of who I am is not PMDD. PMDD is what I experience. It's not who I am. I need to get that on a t-shirt. PMDD is what I experience, because I'm not going to be delusional and say, I don't experience PMDD. I do. I have the symptoms every single month. I'm right here with you, but it's not the core of who I am. It's not all of who I am. There's so many other aspects of me. And why would I shield that? Because what you focus on, you will find. If you're always focusing on one thing, the reticular activating system in your brain is going to be looking for things that are related to that. So if you're always looking at PMDD, it's like an algorithm in your brain. If everything is PMDD, everything in your life is going to be about PMDD. And guess what? Then everything in your relationship is going to be about PMDD. What I do for my private clients is getting you to the point where we can put PMDD on the back burner. We can relieve the stress of PMDD and let you go enjoy your relationship. And that's the last regret. Number 10, not seeking professional help sooner for your PMDD relationship. Wishing that you had invested in PMDD specific counseling and resources for the both of you. This is a big, big, big regret that you will have, because once you start to really use the tools and see how much it helps your PMDD relationship, I literally had a client say, oh my gosh, if we would have tried to work on this, like, it would have took us forever to get to this conclusion. Within one 90-minute session that I work with them every single week, but in one 90-minute session, they were able to get to the bottom of what it is that they both wanted. I do not advocate only for one partner. FYI, disclaimer, I'm not in a place of only advocating for you as the PMDD sufferer or only advocating for the partner. Like, I am here for the both of you. My dissertation, which is right behind me over there, is the phenomenological study of partners of individuals who suffer with premenstrual dysphoric disorder. Partners. My dissertation is about the partner. Therefore, I know very well from hundreds of interviews and working with them and counseling them and coaching them and all of the things, I know what the partner is going through. So I have tools for you and I have tools for your partner. I'm always going to have tools for me, because guess what? I have PMDD. It's not going anywhere. So that's a thing. But I have tools for the partner. So if you're working with me, do not think that I'm going to be on your team with ganging up on your partner and telling them how horrible they are. Absolutely not. I'm working for the both of you. I'm working for your relationship. I'm working for you to get your needs met. So again, I'm going to go over the options one more time of working with me. Number 1 is, if you get the My Partner Has PMDD Now What course, you get 3 sessions that accompany that. That is the package, the PMDD Relationship Breakthrough Package. Number 2 is just the PMDD Relationship Breakthrough Sessions. Right? That's just the 3 sessions where I have 1 session with you, 1 session with your partner, and then 1 session together to give you those customized tools. And then option 3 is the PMDD Relationship Monthly Session Package. That is something that is ongoing if you need that ongoing support. And if you're really in that place of like, Dr. Rose, I don't know which package I should get. I don't know which one that I need. I would tell you option 1, which is the course and the sessions. If you want a complete PMDD relationship toolkit with the expert counseling from me, and then also the structured learning that your partner can do on their own and start implementing those changes in the PMDD relationship, choose package 1. If you prefer, oh my gosh, that's my client again. If you prefer counseling without the course, you don't want the course, you just want to have the counseling sessions, that's package 2, where I have 1 session with you, 1 session with your partner, and 1 session together. And if you want consistent, ongoing monthly support from me, a PMDD relationship psychotraumatologist, and you want the tools and the bonuses, the ongoing support every single month, you want to have a weekly session with me or bi-weekly session with me for anything that comes up in your PMDD relationship, that's package 3. Okay? And then after that, if you're already getting sessions with me and something big comes up and you want to get that one session, you can always do that. That's always going to be available to you. So those are the packages that I have available. I will put them all in the show notes so that I can work with you. You can work with me for this next year. Again, Happy New Year. If January sucked, make a fresh start. At the end of this relationship, just commit to saying, I want to have a fresh start in my PMDD relationship. This is the tools that I'm going to start using moving forward, and really believe that things could be different in your PMDD relationship, because guess what? It's what you deserve. You are not meant to do this alone. We got this. I love you. I hope these tools help you and your PMDD partner. If you have not enrolled to get the course, My Partner Has PMDD, now what? Then you want to make sure that you are one of the first 12 individuals that gets the course for the month of December to get that complimentary private session with me. And then after that, it'll go back to regular price without the private sessions. But what this course is going to do for you is give your partner all of the tools that they need on how to be a supportive PMDD partner. What does that look like? I always say that your partner doesn't need more information. They need more implementation. They need more transformational tools. And this is the program for you. So I'm looking forward to you getting those tools in the program. And until next episode, we got this.